Hello and welcome to Ask the Crown. I'm Stephanie McGrain, and today I am so excited to be joined by the very beautiful and talented Cherie Wimberly. Cherie is an actress, model. She is the LA Modeling Examiner and author of the Ultimate Pageant Notebook. So excited to have you with me. Welcome, Cherie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for having me.
Well, so excited to have you. You have accomplished so many amazing things in your career. I know you have quite the background in modeling and acting, but let's get started. Tell us some more about some of the acting and modeling that you've done.
Well, I started when I was a teenager, actually, modeling in a department store that is now Macy's. When I was in high school, and we would model every Saturday in the food court, which was really interesting. And I actually got discovered there by a fashion photographer who's now kind of a big photographer. His name is Scott Tytler, and he took some photos of me. And I really didn't start working professionally until I was in my early 20s in South Beach. And my very first job was a photo shoot for Elle magazine with Gilles Ben Simone, and it was a 5-girl shoot. One of the girls was Nikki Taylor, so I was very lucky to start off the bat with such a great job. And from there, I got to do a lot of magazine work. I've been in Cosmo a few times, Italian Vogue. I've had some covers in Florida, where I'm from. And then with acting, I've been very lucky to get some model type roles that they asked for. One was for General Hospital, and I also got to work with Will Smith in Bad Boys, and with Kelsey Grammer and director James Burrows in Frasier. So I've had a lot of really, really good luck and being in the right place at the right time.
Oh my goodness, what an amazing career. Just those opportunities, working with those people. People only dream of that. That is so exciting.
I know, sometimes I have to pinch myself and say, did this really happen? But yeah, I've been very, very lucky.
Well, and we're hoping to get some more photos to add to the blog where people can see more of your modeling work. So we'll definitely add that in as well. And now I know you also write for The Examiner. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Just this fall, I started a new gig writing for the Examiner.com website as the LA Modeling Examiner, and I get to write about local casting calls, national casting calls that are open to people in LA as well, pageants, modeling contests, celebrity news that affects modeling, and recently I got to do a story about the upcoming Miss Universe pageant, which is going to be on this evening, live from Moscow. And those girls, all the contestants were in a fashion show in Moscow for Fashion Week. So I have a slideshow if you want to take a look. The very first girl in my slideshow is actually my pick to win Miss Universe. So that's an interesting bit of trivia for you.
Ah, so exciting. Tell us, who is your pick? Who is your pick to win Miss Universe?
I'm going to tell you, she's the first girl in my slideshow, and I think it's going to be Miss Venezuela. She looks like a pretty strong contender this year. Venezuela always has really great contestants, but you know, there's a lot of good ones. Several from the Ukraine, Russia, the whole eastern area over there. A lot of strong competitors this year, so it should be a really great show.
Oh, that is so exciting. We will have to check that out. And yes, I absolutely love Miss Venezuela. She is so beautiful. And now you recently wrote an article for The Examiner about safety tips for models. And I think that's so important. But can you share a couple of those tips with us?
Absolutely. You know, you always hear stories on the news about models getting into trouble, getting taken, and it really is a reality, and it's something that everybody should be aware of in the business. And I really felt compelled, as one of my first articles, to do an article about safety tips. The biggest one for me is to be aware, and it kind of covers across the board. You know, you'll be on a photo shoot, and a lot of times you think that you're okay because you're surrounded by all these people. And I can tell you that more than once, photographers have had their equipment stolen right out from under all of us, that we didn't even see it happen. So the more aware you are of your surroundings and what's going on, the better for you. You can be an easy target, especially at a place where there could be hundreds of people coming to a casting, and a predator could see that happening and wait for that one person who isn't paying attention, they can catch off guard. And you don't want to be that person, and it's always good to also have a buddy in situations like that. And one of my favorite tips is to take a self-defense class. Have you ever taken a self-defense class, Stephanie?
I have not, but I would love to, and I'm sure it is so important to do that. Yeah, I would love to be able to defend myself if anything comes up.
It really is a good idea. I took one through the local community, and you can check in your community. You might even be able to take one online. And
wow. Okay.
there's other tips in there other than physical defending yourself. Just really good tips that if you take one in the community, like with the police, they can tell you other things. If you take a look at my blog, I shared a story about one of the times that I almost got taken from a casting in South Beach. And I was using one of the tips I learned in the self-defense class, which is to carry my keys in my hand as I walked to my car. And I was able to defend myself that way and get away from the person who had me.
Oh my goodness, that is so scary. Well, I'm so glad you got away. Wow. And like you said, you know, you'd think you'd be safe if you're at a casting or if there's so many people around, you know, but that's not necessarily the case.
Right. And a lot of times, you know, you'll be carrying your portfolio. People will see that. People will see that there's a casting going on. They'll see hundreds of beautiful people walking around in high heels who maybe can't sprint very fast at that moment, and they'll wait. And you really should be prepared and just be aware of everything.
Wow. Now tell us again, where can we check out your article on safety as well as all the rest of your articles? Where can we find that?
Well, if you go to the examiner.com website, if you search LA Modeling Examiner, you'll get my whole column, and it'll list all of the articles that I've written so far. And you can also go to my website, which is cheriesite.com, CHERIESITE.com, and I have a link to my LA Modeling Examiner page there as well.
Perfect. We will definitely be sure to check that out. And now you've had a lot of experience with modeling, and I know you also have experience with pageants and pageant contestants, and so many girls in pageantry hope to make the jump from pageants to the world of modeling. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's an easy transition to do that?
I think it's a very natural transition. I think that if you have the inclination to do pageants, that you have that performing artist within you anyway. A lot of girls go into pageants for different reasons. Some are looking for scholarship money. Some are just looking for the excitement. But a lot of people are looking to take pageants as a stepping stone towards modeling, acting, other performing arts careers. And I think it's a very natural transition. I think depending on where you live and what your market is and what your personal type is, I think that it can be easier to get into in some areas than others. For example, California, Texas, Florida, you find a lot of girls who do modeling and pageants. It's very cross-connected. Atlanta as well. Then when you get up into New York, it might be a little more separated, where the fashion world is very contained and maybe separate from the pageants, but still, you can do both. It's just a question of understanding the area you live in and how it works where you are.
Okay, good to know. Would you ever recommend anyone, if they're really serious about modeling, would you recommend them to move to a different region of the United States in order to pursue modeling?
I definitely think that it's an option. I think that depending on where you live, you are probably within driving distance of some type of modeling market, whether it be commercials, commercial print modeling, lifestyle modeling, something where you can give it a try and get your feet wet, even if it means doing runway shows for your local department store. Give it a try and make sure you like it, because you have to really like it and want to do it. If you go to an LA or a Miami or a New York or Chicago, you are going to have a lot of girls that you are competing with, and they want to do it. So make sure you like it, and then, yes, if it's something you want to do, pick the place that's best for your look and go for it.
Oh, good advice, good advice. Do you have any other advice for those girls who aspire to become professional models?
Yes. Well, first, let me say, don't ever let anybody discourage you. If you think that this is what you are supposed to be doing, go ahead and do it. And don't let anybody stop you. But with that said, I would advise everyone to have something to fall back on. And I am going to be doing an upcoming article on this on Examiner, so look for it. But even myself, I always had a second career that I fell back on. I did training. I was one of the teachers at Barbizon schools. I did coaching, and I also did some bookkeeping. There are a lot of very flexible jobs that you can do. You can do temporary clerical work, things that make money that you can never feel like you have to get this modeling job. You don't have that air of desperation when you walk in, because that's the last thing that you want to show. If you have a second career and you have a second income while you're getting started, then you can relax and make it fun and make it enjoyable, and you'll actually work more.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. And we will definitely check out your upcoming article as well on that. And I know you've had experience in pageantry yourself as well. Tell us a little bit about that and some of the systems that you've competed in.
Well, years ago, in the 90s, I was in the USA system, and I competed in Florida, where I got as far as third runner-up. I also competed.
Congratulations to you. That's a very competitive system and state, so way to go.
Thank you. And also in California, I was Miss LA Photogenic. I was Miss Empire International's Model of the Year. And most recently, in 2008, I was Mrs. Orlando Scholarship. So I've had a lot of experience with pageants. I've also judged a lot of pageants. I was involved with the Sunburst system for a number of years, with multi-level competitors, and a lot of coaching for myself, model coaching and pageant coaching. So I have a lot of pageant experience, and it's something that I really enjoy.
Well, I know with your modeling background and your background in pageantry, I'm sure it has helped you to write your book. Can you tell us a little bit more about your book and the types of things that we will learn from it?
Sure. I wrote the Pageant Notebook while I was preparing for a pageant myself. And what it does is it helps you to get organized. It helps you prepare everything from start to finish, from the rules of your pageant to getting sponsors, writing your platform, writing a speech if you have to do an introductory speech. It's also really good for beginners. It has a lot of tips in there, things that you may not know about pageants, things that even if you have competed before, you may not know. And it basically gives you an outline of everything that you have to do for your pageant and just keep everything organized and together.
Oh, I love that. It's all in one place. You can be organized. And it's just for you to kind of focus on your system and make sure that you can be the winner. Love it. How can our viewers purchase a copy of this?
It's on Amazon.com. You can go to Amazon, and if you search Beauty Pageant Notebook, you'll get the original pageant notebook. There are also versions for Miss, Mrs., Teen, Ms., and Kids contestants.
Great. So depending on who you are, you can get your own specialized version of the pageant notebook. Love it. And now I understand that you are also doing pageant coaching and coaching models. Is there any certain area that you specialize in with your coaching?
Yes. I really like working with girls who are new to pageants, and I love working with girls who have an interest in modeling as well. I don't mind spending a little bit of time talking about pageants and talking about modeling because I think that the two really do go together, and I want everyone to get a good use of their time when they're with me. But I also work with a lot of girls who have modeling experience and then want to go into pageants. There's a few niche areas that I do, and modeling and pageants combined is definitely one of them.
Oh, fabulous. How do you conduct your coaching? Is that something you do through Skype, or do you do phone coaching, or one-on-one, you know, in person? What is the best way, or how are the various ways that you do conduct your coaching?
Well, if someone is in the LA area, I can certainly work with them in person. If it's long distance, we can do over the phone, we can do Skype. I am a little bit technically savvy, so we can make arrangements depending on the schedule and how much time we have to work together.
Now, if our viewers want to get in contact with you about coaching, how should they do that? Is there an email address? Should they go to your website? What's the best way to contact you about coaching?
The best way to contact me is to just go to my website, again at cheriesite.com, and there's a contact page. You can fill out the form. If you're interested in coaching, just provide me as much information about yourself as possible. Where you're located, your age, your pageant group that you're in, type of pageant that you're competing in, and the date, if there's a pageant coming up. The date is very important. Just as much information and your contact information and phone number so that I can get back in touch with you.
Well, now, I like how you're so knowledgeable about the world of modeling and the world of pageants. So I feel like that sets you apart from a lot of coaches, pageant coaches right there, that you know so much about the world of modeling. But what do you feel really sets you apart from the other coaches out there?
Well, I think that having worked in both and worked on both sides, really the judging and that aspect of it has given me a lot of insight that I didn't have even when I was competing, that I can pass on to my girls that I work with. I really care about the people that I work with, and I think it goes beyond the pageant. I think that preparing for a pageant prepares you for so much more in life, you know, from interviews and just conducting business, conducting financial transactions. All of that is so important, and it's important if you want to be a model, because as a model, you are your own business person. You're running a business. You are your own PR person, your own marketing person, and it's a lot to take on when you take on a pageant, but if you can do that, you can do it in any part of your life. And so for me, when I work with someone, it's really important that they take something away that's going to go beyond the pageant.
Oh, I love that. And I could not agree with you more. It's not only developing skills for pageantry or modeling, but life skills as well. So, absolutely. And now I know you had mentioned your website and how we can read your articles on the Examiner, but what is there any other way that our viewers can follow you or reach out to you? And what is the best way to find you?
Oh, sometimes I don't want to be found.
Better to hide away.
But unfortunately, I'm all over the place. If you want to find me, I'm on Facebook. I'm also on Twitter. Twitter at Cherie Site. Facebook is Cherie Wimberly, my name. And you can follow me there. You can certainly send me a message if you have a story idea, if you have a comment or a suggestion. I would love to hear from you. If I don't get back to you right away, please be patient. It might take me a few days or hopefully not a few weeks, but you never know. But I will get back to you as soon as I can, and I love hearing from everyone.
Oh, that is wonderful. And I want to say thank you so much for joining me today on Ask the Crown. I just think you're the sweetest, nicest person ever. You've shared so many wonderful tips with our viewers, and we'll definitely be watching for all of your articles on the Examiner, and definitely be getting in touch with you and following you on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you for joining me today. It has been an honor having you on the show.
Thank you, Stephanie. It has certainly been my pleasure.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to all of the viewers out there for tuning in. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.